You do the name thing, please.
All right, so you'll just look at me and ignore
Okay.
them. If you'll give me your first and last names and spell them for me.
I'm Rachel Brown, RachelBrown.
And what is your title?
So I'm the marketing coordinator for the WNC Cheese Trail, which is also an extension of the Carolina Mountain Cheese Festival.
So tell me a little bit about the festival, how it got started, and what people can expect when they come out here.
Sure. So the Cheese Festival is fairly new. We've only been doing it a few years, but it's been super popular every year that we've done it. Basically what we wanted to do was we wanted to make it an easy way for everyone to experience the trail. Just because while we do focus on the western part of the state, it can be hard to visit all of our members in one day or even in an entire weekend. So we wanted to make it where you could really do the entire trail in one day. And then from there it's just kind of grown. We're now welcoming cheesemakers from other parts of the state and other states also. We have cheesemakers from all across the South that come, as well as vendors of other products like crackers and pickles, jams, jellies. So it's really just turned into something where not only are we focusing on cheese in this part of the state, but cheese all throughout the South. It's been a really good way for us to connect with the public here and really kind of show that there are quite a lot of cheesemakers in everyone's own backyard here that a lot of people didn't even realize were here. But also for the cheesemakers themselves, it's been really good just because you're able to talk to other cheesemakers and meet up with them. You know, it's a very busy lifestyle making cheese, so it's hard to kind of talk to other cheesemakers and swap stories and to, kind of talk about, any issues you're facing, or it's just really good to kind of be a sounding board and have all of the cheesemakers come together, not only for the public, but also for themselves.
What can people expect when they come out to the festival?
The largest part of the festival is actually the gathering of cheesemakers. We have cheesemakers out in the meadow section and, going around tasting, talking to cheesemakers, asking questions, things like that. I mean, that's really the largest part of the festival, but it's certainly not all of the festival. We have wine and cheese pairings, beer and cheese pairings. We have cook-offs, grilled cheese, mac and cheese, things like that. We have demos, a lot of different cheese making demos, especially for the home cheesemaker. If you're really interested in kind of expanding your craft and learning more about it, it's a really great way. We have workshops, things such as raising healthy goats or learning how to make a really awesome cheese plate. So there's a lot of different things you can do. We also have some animals here as well, so you're really able to see kind of the start of the process with the actual animal itself, see the milk, and then see what it gets turned into.
What has the response been to the festival?
The response has been more than we ever hoped it could be. Obviously, in this part of the state, festivals are huge. There's a ton of festivals all the time, and we've been really lucky to have a lot of the public here that loves a good festival. But it's just been so much more than we ever thought it would be. The very first year we were expecting to sell about 500 tickets, and we ended up selling about 1,500 tickets. So every year it just gets, the response just gets greater and greater, and we just are surprised every year with the amount of people that come out for the fest, but also the amount of vendors. Every year, we get more and more vendors just because, I think word's getting out in the cheese world that it's a festival worth doing, and it's just a really fun day.
What would you say to encourage folks to come out to participate in the festival?
I would definitely say, some tips and tricks, try to get your ticket ahead of time, just because we really try to let it be the best experience possible for the patron coming in. So we do limit ticket sales just so you're not, having to wait in line all day, or, you don't get to see your favorite cheesemaker or find a new favorite. So definitely the biggest thing is, as soon as tickets go on sale, if you want to go, then definitely, try to grab them as much as you can. But also kind of study up. We have a lot of cheesemakers, and, if you're really interested in talking to someone about blue cheese or goat cheese or, a certain style, we have pretty much everything represented here. So if you're really interested in talking to someone, definitely make sure that you know who's coming, and you kind of put a game plan for who you want to talk to and what questions you want to ask. Cheesemakers love kind of sharing that with their customers. So it's great to have this as a forum to really talk to your customer and really learn some more information from them.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. You good, Bob?
Good?
You've done this before.
At my own house.
She also looks at Mikey too.
Oh my gosh. You survived it?
I did.
Oh, Lordy. That boy. Mama dropped him on his head when he was a boy.
I did. In fact, my husband said, I don't even remember a lady being there. It was just that guy. I said, yeah, she was there. I said, the interviewer was actually her, not him.
Did you get that on tape?
Yes, of course. Well, I'm going to play it to him. All right, we're good.
Okay, so the first thing I'll ask you to do is give me your first and last names and spell it for me.
Susan English, SUSANENGLISH.
And you are the owner of
English Farmstead Cheese.
So tell me a little bit about why you chose to participate in the Cheese Festival.
Well, we participate in the Cheese Festival primarily because we're a member of the Western North Carolina Cheese Trail who sponsors the Cheese Festival. And then last year was the inaugural festival in 2015, and we were so pleased and overwhelmed by the success, the community support, and the overwhelmingness of it that we, as a group, the Cheese Trail members, decided to not skip a year and go ahead and make it an annual event. And this year is even bigger than last year. So,
how important was the fest for your business?
Business-wise, of course, we did make money enough to make it certainly worth being here, but it also was beneficial to us in that we are over here with other cheesemakers. Everybody gets to see what we're about, what we've got, and just was a fun day for all of us and fellowship amongst the cheesemakers, and from beginning to end, and we just look forward to it all year because it's fun not only for the people who choose to come and visit, but it's also fun for the cheesemakers.
So tell me what kinds of cheeses you're going to have out today that people can sample.
We ourselves, last year what we found to be the most popular thing that we had here were fresh cheese curds. We in fact had to actually send back home, which is an hour away, to have more brought in last year because we sold out within like 45 minutes. So cheese curds, and then we do our signature little buttercup cheese we'll have. And we have a new cheese we're introducing this year called Linville, which is named for the mountain that over around Grandfather Mountain, and is a wash rind cider cheese. So this will be the first time we've ever actually had it out. And then we'll do our traditional cheddar and our cheese spreads. And ours is all cow's milk cheese.
Tell me why you think it's important to have a festival like this.
I think it brings awareness to, there are cheesemakers in this area. A lot of folks don't realize how many cheesemakers there are in Western North Carolina. And then this year, of course, we've got cheesemakers coming from as far away as Kentucky and Arkansas. All different kinds of milk, all different kinds of cheese, all different kinds of other vendors in addition to cheesemakers, and it really broadens local folks' horizons and what's out there in the cheese world and how much actually is locally produced.
Fantastic. Anything else you can think of you want to add about the festival?
It's just a fun day, and the weather this year fortunately is great, and last year it was a fun day even in the rain, so we hope everybody enjoys themselves.
Fantastic.
You good? Are we happy?
Perfect. Okay, Catherine, you want me for your name?
So if you could give me your first and last names and spell them for me.
Karen Mickler, Karen Mickler.
And you are?
Yellow Branch Cheese.
Are you the owner?
Yes, co-owner.
Co-owner. So tell me why you chose to participate in the festival.
Oh my goodness. We participate in these festivals as much as we can to support the Western North Carolina Cheese Trail.
And what is it that you think makes this festival so special?
It's a gathering of cheesemakers from Western North Carolina mainly, and cheesemakers from out the state. And the other folks that join us are food from the the county and the country. Oh.
No, it's fine. We edit, so.
Great, great. It's just so much fun, and we get to meet so many of our friends in the cheesemaking business and the other food vendors in the region who all come together and celebrate cheesemaking in Western North Carolina.
So what are some of the things? What are some of the things that that you're going to be featuring at your booth today?
Well, we have the cheeses that we make on our farm. We have 3 different cheeses that we brought today: Yellow Branch Farmstead, Yellow Branch Pepper, and Yellow Branch Basil. They're original cheeses that we developed over 30 years ago.
What do you hope that people will get out of coming to the festival?
Oh, I hope they get to taste a lot of good cheese, support the cheesemakers that are here and the other food vendors, and also learn about cheeses and learn about this wonderful industry in Western North Carolina.
Why do you think it's so important that people learn about cheesemaking in Western North Carolina?
Well, if you're a cheese aficionado, it only helps to enhance your already love of cheese, to learn how it's made, who makes it, meet the people who are doing it.
And tell me a little bit about, as a cheesemaker, how intensive of a process is that?
It depends upon the cheeses that you're making, and it also depends upon if you raise the animals to provide the milk to make the cheese. And we do have the animals on the farm, so there's that whole farming process. The cheese making itself takes all day long for one particular batch to be made, and it's an intensive process throughout that day.
What animals do you raise?
We have Jersey cows.
What would you say to encourage people to come out and experience the Cheese Fest?
It's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful day. It's a great bunch of people, friendly folks, and good food, good atmosphere, a lot of fun things to do.
Fantastic. Anything you think of you want to add?
It's such a pleasure to be involved in cheese making. We've been doing it for 34 years, and it's been just one of the highlights of our life here in North Carolina.
Fantastic.
All right.
Wonderful.
Well, there's one in the boneyard. We're going to make it accessible.
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
in.
Well, they don't have a. Nashville has 16 food and or beer and or whatever festivals every weekend. It just isn't. I just want to rethink, and I'm kind of like thinking about her model here, which is just like cheap and a piece of cake.
But I mean, I don't know. It's a funny thing. I don't know. Should all get together.
Yeah, Nashville. Oh, cheese shop in Nashville. I have a cheese shop. I'm a retailer and wholesaler in Nashville. Okay. Just walk around with the crowd. That would be.
All right, you guys have fun today. Yeah. Then you get sunburned.
Better than last year. Rained last year.
Man, it was cold in our houses.
Was it?
It was about 40, 42.
Is this down the mountain for you guys or up the mountain? Are you guys higher than this?
I'd say we're about the same elevation. But you have to go down and up so much between here and there. It's easy to lose perspective. Hey there. How are you doing? All right. How are you?
Hello there, Mr. Nesbitt.
Warmed up, man. It was cold in my house. How cold?
It's 42 degrees. How are y'all doing?
We're doing all right.
We finally got our creamer going and making. Yeah. It's going good.
Son, it's stinking bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, Mark Ramsey and I and Mike Ford went down to North Carolina. We was there at the university, the facility, and he said, well, I'll tell you, he said, cheese is where the money is. He said, but he will earn every dime. He said that, but to hang in there is all I can do. You done grabbed all the car, but you can't get these.
I see me.
So I told Amanda back years ago when she started her program, and they finally got to a point where they got enough help and they've got it figured out enough where they're not duplicating their stuff and being inefficient about everything like they were.
You've become very efficient. You look at Santa's, like I say, I've got this routine and I do it exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have 1 minute of the day
Well, you can lead on that.
pretty standard man thing. And I'm like, I'm standing up there stirring something.
It's just part of it. That's part of why we're farming. We didn't go into farming just to see how busy we could get.
I told Terry,
Although it is
That we
finally
did,
got to where they're not so.
somebody
covered.
actually
They
making
got
cheese.
60 acres.
We do have that in that story.
But they've got
I don't remember exactly.
That's the only drawback to that. I lived in Barcelona in Spain for a few years. There's a different climate, no allergies, issues. I lived in the mountains, States, and I was 9 years, which is long, but I'm from Finland, but we lived in Germany. So if anyone's trying to come here and they're working, I participate in recommend. There's actually a list of actual vendors over at Wilson.
Right over there, see the little light?
Early, a lot of people, a lot of people got in early. Yes. Yes.
He's real nice, and his classes are so good. Have you ever had him? He's a registered.
Well, if they're hand stamped, they can put their
Okay, so if I got something for the wine tasting, like if I stay with her, say cheese, say cheese.
It's all local, right? I mean, I think it is coming down to local. But I mean, just like the breweries, right? And I also preside over the Brewers Guild next week.
No. The volunteers are getting the samples and taking them a plate. Yeah, we're not talking to anybody.
Are you in charge?
Besides, we got to talk to the judge.
I am not.
the judges are having wine testing.
Oh, okay.
Hey y'all, how are ya? I am. I'm waiting for my.
What you got here, man?
I did one.
You get the wine tasting.
But I'm not with this. Last year I emceed.
Nope. Well, we're just.
I published a newspaper.
I used kind of a copy in mine. And then he did.
Sorry, I worked in the German and I was like, what?
Yes.
It's all right.
Cheddar Spetzel. That's a good. That's a great fucking idea. That's like. Figure it's gotta be cheap. I got pork belly and ramps.
Oh, ramps would be the other thing.
Okay, and then I used the Looking Glass, their Drover Road cheddar. and then I've got some Round Mountain Creamery goat cheese.
The Drover, is that their goat or is that their cow?
I believe it's their cow. It's like round wax line. Yep. So we have Drover Road and then the Round Mountain goat.
You incorporate goat because I was going to do
Oh yeah, I use Round Mountain.
well, they ran out of their goat. Let's go. Oh, this is the
demo.
Yeah.
Well, that was
That's not good for you?
At least I'll know I got plenty of
wow.
You like it?
This is a little bit spicy.
That's why I was like,
If it's too spicy, then eat a Gouda if it was too much for you.
I didn't try that one.
Mellow
But
it
the
right
horseradish
out.
was right.
Good.
Because the party's my favorite. I'm like, oh, hold on.
Yeah. We do have all these flavors for sale today as well, and they're all frozen, so you can walk around with them and not worry about them. Getting
Oh, good idea. Good.
It's our horseradish Chavardi. This is an El Diablo. It's very spicy.
Yummy.
have some old-fashioned pecan and smoked Gouda right here too. And we're selling all of them today for $6 for an 8-ounce container, and they're frozen. So you can walk around with them. That's perfect.
Maybe it's a dry cheese. So, I think we're almost there. No, it's a dry cheese. So, but feel free to pull it. I mean, you're not gonna do too much damage, and that's how. If you've ever gotten like a really nice ball of mozz where it's got the spiral on the inside, that's how they get it. They stretch it and then they roll it. So, which you'll see when I get the big mass going. But what we'll do.
2 plated dinners, one for 180 and 60 degrees, 80. Private dinner for 30.
So we're at about 160 right now. We want to be between 170 and 180. In here, I've got 2 layers of gloves. Got a cloth in there, and then the plastic, which is a non-latex, just on top. So it's heat resistant. But yeah, that's what you want. You want that ooey gooey.
I've got one guy that I just hired full
So I think we're just about ready to do the big guy.
You're 165.
Yeah. All right. This is the fun part. Making the curd is a lot like the camembert. You've got a curd that keeps a lot of the moisture in it, so you don't beat it up like a Parmesan cheese where you get it really small and kind of dry. The camembert, the brie that you guys made, you want a lot of that moisture to stay in the curd. So it's very similar. In fact, I'll show you. This curd was made last night. You go ahead and get this guy out of here.
Yes. Yeah.
Then you just put it in the ice.
Yep, because you don't want it to continue to cook, because that'll also dry your cheese out. So this one will look a little weird. But any raw edges you have, you can just rub it up against the hot water in the bowl, and just leave that guy in there.
Okay.
So.
Catering is happy to help.
Huge slab. That's how you want it. You want it to be one solid mass, and then we're going to recut it. So I cut it when I was making the curd, but we're going to cut it again to go ahead and melt it down. So we'll save that guy for later. And the one great thing about whey is that it's not harmful to rats or animals. In fact, I have chickens and they love it. I also cook pasta in it. There's so many different things you can do with it. So it's pretty wonderful. So I'm going to see if I can't get a few more folks to gather. And then we'll do the big stretch.
Well, next month I'm doing leaf.
We good?
Yeah, we're really close.
Okay. So, when you guys make the camembert, what kind of molds did you get?
We do the main. We run the main dining.
Okay.
In October, we made 6,000 meals, 550 boxes.
I'm here. I'm available. All right.
The stack of sheet pans after the bacon was cooked was like that.
A full sheet pan?
A full sheet pan. One day we went through 15 50-pound bags of red skin potatoes. 50 years, and you're like, you cut up for you.
It's awesome that you get the volunteers because that's free work.
These ladies up front, but this is basically the mass of mozzarella curd that you guys start with in the stretching process. This was made last night. The one thing that I have learned the hard way is if you are buying milk in the store to use at home, do not get homogenized milk. You want pasteurized is fine, low pasteurized is best. Earth Fare and some of the other places like that will sell you stuff that is, like this is Mills River Creamery. They do a low pasteurized temperature cheese, which is wonderful. It keeps a lot of those good bacteria alive, which is what you want because that's the best part of cheese. So, you can. You absolutely can. You're never going to find raw milk sold in mozzarella because it does need to be aged. Right now, current laws say that you just need to age it for 3 months. But if you're making at home, it's whatever you like. So with the mass, you want to get it into about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch squares. So I start with rows. Now I recommend if you are going to do this at home, maybe a small, like you can cut your curd in half and just work with half of your mass. It took me a little while to get up to where I could handle a whole glob of cheese in my hand at once. So you might want to work yourself into that. Alright. into strips. Has anybody attempted to make mozz at home yet? All right. I expect all of you to go home and make mozzarella today. Okay, so the reason we want these curds pretty tiny is because you don't want to put a whole block in there and then just the outside will melt and the inside will stay cool. You want all these little guys to kind of get evenly distributed heat so that they melt all at the same time. Go ahead and break those guys up.
Where did you say you got your curds from?
I make them.
You make them?
I made these last night, so they're pretty fresh. You kind of want like a melting the curd is about 170 to 180 degrees. So I was showing some folks earlier. And I've got some heat-resistant gloves underneath. They won't expel much moisture, but once you get that water on there, you want to be a little more gentle because we want them to stay moist. So.
She fooled me.
Where do you want it? Okay, do the whole bowl. Well, it's just a little warm, so I was trying to get some color stuff. About 182. You okay?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to just cover the curd and just kind of let it sit in that hot water for a minute. You can see that it almost immediately starts to melt and get gooey. That means we've got a good curd. Now, sometimes I've made batches that they don't get gooey right away and they need a little hotter water to get them that way. It doesn't mean your curd's bad. It just means somewhere in the cooking process something went a little wrong. But this is a good sign. Yeah. That's what you want almost instantly. So, all right. Now once we start to get there, it starts to cool off right away because remember we started with cool curd. So we want to make sure we maintain the right temp. So we go ahead and take some of that water off. And like I was telling everyone beforehand, some of these foods, so you can kind of discard depending on where.
Asheville food fights.
Yeah. So if you want to go ahead and stretch and pull it. Now in this stage of the process, what you're doing is you're creating those layers so that when we go to roll it, you've got that nice spiral look on the inside. This is the fun part. And if you break it, don't worry. Just get it back in that hot water. Can you guys see that? It feels like silk almost, or rubber, if you will. All right. So you guys can use a spatula. I enjoy working with my hands. That's why I got into making cheese. I like making your own food, working with it, so you're more than welcome to use a spoon or a ladle. But just get on in there and have some fun.
Can you put promo material on this table?
We'll let it stretch out. Let it drip in the water if you want. I'm going to go ahead and get it pulled a bit. Okay, so what should I make first? 8-ounce ball, little guys, or a braid? What do we want to see?
Yeah, I gotta take pictures.
I want to see a braid.
All right. Oh, we're going
I'm gonna make it
stuff,
work.
Man. All right. All right. Let me warm up. I know I gave you the choice.
I've got to you a million times.
You have.
I used 8 gallons.
So when you fold it like that, are you incorporating layers like you do in biscuits and scones?
Yes, exactly that. So, and then what you want to do after you get your layers the way you want, I'll show you better in the next one. You just want to tuck it under like a mushroom cap almost, and then roll it under and pinch it off. Should make a clean break. That's a sign of a good curd. And then what you can do, baby man, come me for a little hot water. refresh your hot water, what you can do is just go ahead and that uneven part, we'll line it in the hot water. It'll melt it together and fuse it.
All right, it's warm. It's really warm.
Okay. So just kind of just rub it right in there, and it'll seal it for you. It's like Ziploc. All right, and then you want to get it right away into the ice bath. Now this here is a brine.
Website it. There's some places where you can buy it where you can ask.
So all the cheeses are made from our own goat's milk. The Chesney, however, is a cow's milk cheese. It's been aging for 5 years in our care, and it's a cheddar style, quite intense at this point in its life. Typical cow's milk product versus the goat's milk, which doesn't have as much beta carotene in it. So that's why goat's milk cheeses tend to be paler. And you know, that cheese could go with a nice glass of wine. I think it could even hold up to a good scotch.
Sarah.
Absolutely. You guys want a ribbon?
Let me see that. Put that on you. Come on. In your hands.
Okay. Can I have some too?
Down. Yeah, and then we are all the way in back right where
What kind do they have to say?
and then after that we're going to be here.
Petting them, maybe?
She likes red. I like not a sweetie, but it's good.
Cece's more She's trying to get into that bit of food.
To attempt to cut the cheese. I'm going to take a moment to prepare a couple of these cheeses real quick, and you can feel free to step closer, or we have a little setup. Water buffalo milk cheeses are very interesting in that water buffalo milk has a significantly larger fat content.
You having fun?
Yes, he's 40%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A little too light for him.
Will already got one. Will already got one.
Very good. Yes.
Okay, fine. There. Happy?
Oh, perfect. Love it. Perfect. Big cheese and little cheese. Oh, that's adorable. Love it. Okay, here's a little big. Give yours sign down. There we go.
What color is the phone, Avery?
Weird out.
Say cheese?
Oh, adorable.
Five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Thank you. 50 or so, very well. Hi. Okay. Hi. Hello. Miguel, Miguel for you.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. How are you?
Great. So these are cheeses that we make on our farm. This is the original recipe, Yellow Branch Farmstead. We have our own Jersey cows, jalapeno pepper, and basil that we grow on the farm. Are y'all from Nashville?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
fabulous.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
That's right. He's from Brevard, but close enough.
Close enough that y'all still speak. I've been a Florida. Somehow, you know. Somehow it works. I've been coming to Asheville probably the first year when I was a kid because my mother graduated from Florida. So I always loved the mountains.
A lot of people from Florida seem to come up here. Yeah.
Well, we sell our cheese at Bert's Fair.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And 67. Oh, really? And it's rhubarb,
having fun handing out cheese?
absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Sweet bagel.
So all the best restaurants.
Yes.
How much is your bacon?
Yeah, I just kind of like accept it, you know.
Can I get one of the $6.75 ones, please?
Sure. Would you like a bag?
No, thanks. You got it.
Okay. All right. Let's see if this.
This newfangled device.
Well, it's been having connectivity issues.
You know what?
Oh, no.
2 other booths said their square's not working.
How are you?
Thank you. How are you today?
Yes. No, they're the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't let me
I heard you saying that's your like signature.
Yes, that's the original recipe.
there ain't no more liquor in this town.
You ready? Okay, so first thing I'll ask you to do is give your first and last names and spell it for me.
Chris Boehm, B-O-E-H-M-E.
And tell me why you guys decided to come out to the Cheese Fest today.
We love cheese. We were here last year. We love the mountains of western North Carolina, and we're in favor of patronizing local businesses.
So what have you thought about the event so far today?
The cheese is great. Like old timers to Asheville, I'm kind of feeling, boy, there's a lot of people here. I think we have enough. Last year, when we came here, they got 3 times the number of people they expected. This year, I see they've limited the number of tickets they're selling. I think next year they're going to need a venue that's a lot bigger.
So tell me what you would say to encourage people to come out and check out the festival.
It's fun. It's fun. The cheese is great. If you like cheese, if you like good beer, WNC Cheese Festival at Highland Brewery, what's not to like?
Fantastic.
How about pina coladas? If you like cheese, come on.
No. Wine. Now, you know, that would make sense, cheese and wine, cheese, bread, wine. When we were here last year, there was one vendor for bread, sold out by 1 o'clock. Opened at 12, at 1 o'clock they were done. Cheese and bread, cheese and bagels. I mean, come on. So
I got the locks.
This year I asked the woman at the same vendor in the bread tent, and I think she brought about 3 times as much as last year. Maybe it'll last till 2 o'clock this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Small business workshop downtown. They said you got the first thing.
Yes. Okay. All right, so the first thing I'll ask you to do is give me your first and last names and spell them for me.
Okay, it's Joanna Walker. That's Joannawalker.
And is this your first time coming to the Cheese Fest?
Yes, actually.
So what do you think about the event?
I'm really, really excited. This is awesome.
What were you expecting when you came out today?
I really didn't know what to expect. The reason that I'm here, I'm actually going to participate in the cheesemonger competition. So I'm really nervous, but I'm excited. Seems like a good vibe.
Have you had a chance to sample any of the cheeses so far?
I went straight to Looking Glass Creamery. They're in Asheville, and I've tried to go out there. They're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I'm always there on opposite days. But they have some really impressive cheeses, so I'm going to try to get those in our cheese shop in Outer Banks.
So you have to be present. What do you think you would say to encourage people to come out to this festival next year?
I mean, I would just say, like, you stand to learn so much and be out in the nature, and, you know, everyone is so passionate about it. It's just really great.
Thank you.
Want me to shake for a minute for you? How you doing? Is it almost?
Grab the sub. They're purple. Oh, you're in. So there's one restaurant that's running late, and if you come back
How are you doing? You know what? I think. I bet you're there.
Either red or purple, guys.
We got purple.
I need one purple.
Never add water to lye, because we do not all see fight for it.
Oh, and it's lime tasting.
We just need purple.
Did you get 2 purples for that? Yes.
Chevy, do you want to know our name?
Three of us. I want to do the bars. Okay, there it is. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I want to try it. I want to try it. But it's going to take time.
Where you got him at, Sandy?
Good job, man.
Thank you.
I bet. I want to try them. I'm looking forward.
The charcoal also has great benefits. It's a detoxer, a purifier. It's a really nice set. It's one of those things I think that are becoming popular. You start seeing lots of things with charcoal in them.
When you're using it to bathe with, it doesn't dry out your skin as much. It helps, again, to provide moisture and condition your skin. It's high in vitamin A, so it can help reduce wrinkles or just help your skin to look healthy. And let's see.
So this is all new to us, but we're nearly there. So before we do that, I might just explain to you what we're going to do. So while we're doing it, I'm not going to confuse you. So the next stage, when they are within 6 degrees of each other, we need to blend the oils and the water. So this is the main chemical reaction that takes place that makes soap. It's a reaction called saponification, which is a fat and an oil and lye neutralizing each other and creating what is in effect a salt, but what we know as soap. So the key in that stage is stirring. You have to keep stirring this, it leaves a trace. So when you get to that point, you know that the correct chemical reaction has taken place and you're ready to add any essential oils that you're going to add, and if you're going to add any colouring or clay, that's the point when you do it. So it won't interfere with the chemical reaction. Once you've added the essential oils and the clay, you keep mixing, and then it thickens up just a little bit more, and then it's ready to be poured into the moulds. Once it goes into the moulds, you need to insulate it for up to 48 hours.
tyrosine, which I was talking about a second ago, was actually first discovered in cheese, and tyro is Greek for cheese. So that's why they call it the tyrosine. But yeah, there's these real Goudas can only be made in home, and there's only 3 different cheeses that we really have claimed for their own, and it's Borenkos and the Nord Goudas and the regular Gouda Holland.
Yeah, it's good to see.
It's pretty interesting with a lot of these certain cheeses, the crystals come from the addition of another culture that they'll add at the beginning of the process of making cheese called Lactobacillus helveticus, which actually sounds more like a Harry Potter spell than an actual ingredient for cheese. And it's really interesting with cheeses because you can grind them in different ways. There's Stilton, which we'll be trying a little bit, where the outside is left to just dry out and age and gather all these different natural cultures. And then there's wax rind that we're having now. They paraffin coat, and then later on in the process they cover it up entirely. But when they do that, it sort of shuts everything down from breathing and living and being able to eat, and it causes this great process that gives you that woody texture. Got a couple of different cheeses for you. We've got this Stilton is going to be paired with a IPA that you're going to be bringing around.
If anybody has any discard beer, just raise your hand and I'll come around to this, okay? You can just pour it right in here. Yeah. All right. Any discard? Ale. And the Highland Gaelic is really special to us here at Highland. This is our original brew. It is also our #1 seller. This is also a malt-forward beer, but you will notice a little more of the hoppy tones in the Gaelic than you did in the Pilsner. We're going to have Cascade and Willamette hops in our Gaelic ale, and it is American amber. It's a really rounded out, full body amber ale. In the early 90s, it was really typical as breweries started up. A lot of them would have some type of American amber ale, and it just so happens that we found a really great recipe that allowed us to kind of move forward as a brewery through our Highland Gaelic ale. Yeah, no one said they were filming today, so yeah. What's that?
Highland Gaelic's outsells every beer in it.
It has in the past, as the craft brewery scene here has grown. But yeah, it is really accessible. We actually call it our gateway beer. And what it does is for folks that aren't typically used to drinking craft brews, this is something that's really accessible. It's very drinkable, and can allow them to open up their mind and their palate to new flavors. Also, if you just like give 2 little sniffs, and then take a nice deep breath with that beer, and then definitely let it sit on your tongue for a moment and let those flavors open up as it warms up on your tongue. And then we're going to pair it with, which cheese are we going with, Zach? Stilton.
right, now we're gonna start prepping for round 2. This is the technical portion of the event. They are going to have to cut 2 pieces of cheese. One will be a 1/4 pound wedge that they are cutting from this cheddar right here, and then they're going to cut 1/2 pound wedge from the manchego, because you know sometimes you want a 1/2 pound, sometimes you want a 1/4 pound. Sometimes you want something a little more than a 1/4. Let's see. Now we're going to start from west to east. All right, so reverse order. All right, we've got one announcement. Stay tuned. On the table, they can wear their gloves. They are going to cut a 1/4 pound wedge of the yellow cheddar and then a 1/2 pound wedge of the manchego. They will be scored based on how accurate their cuts are. They will not be able to weigh the cheese before they cut it. This will be all done by sight. They will have to look at the piece of cheese and judge how much they will need to cut for each wedge. We have Lauren starting with us. Lauren is representing Whole Foods, Asheville. After we record the weights. Yeah, she's starting. Here we go, guys. After we record the weights, she is going to then wrap the cheese in the cheese paper. All right, guys, we got 0.34. We're going for 0.25. When you hear the sound of this, that means somebody got it on the nose. All right. Then she is wrapping the cheese.
What's the name on that cheese paper, Rachel?
The cheese paper is from Fromagex. They are an awesome company that sells cheese supplies, and it is branded with our cheese shop. All right. Now we're going for a 1/2 pound. Weigh it first. All right, we got 0.60. Not bad. Pretty good. Way to go. 0.60. 0.34 on the first, 0.60 on the second. Now these cheesemongers have different knives to choose from. Lots of cheesemongers are using wires to cut cheese, but I think, is that old school to use knives? I don't know. I use the knife. So we're testing their knife skills today.
Knife all the way.
Knives all the way, that's what I hear. That's what I say, knives all the way. Excellent job. Lauren has passed her 2 pieces over to the cheese judges. All right. And they are judging that on neatness of wrapping and making sure that that piece of cheese will get home without being exposed to the elements. Next, we have Sandy. Sandy is ready to go. Now she's writing her name on the labels, and she's going to cut 2 pieces of cheese. All right, now she's cutting a 1/2 pound wedge of the manchego. What's it weigh at? 341. All right. Now she's going to wrap her 2 pieces of cheese and hand those over to the judges. All right, so we are just testing their ability to cut from sight. I think these guys have done a pretty good job. Everyone up here is in customer service, and we love you guys. These guys are the front of the cheese counter. They are representing all those cheesemakers that you love. They are telling you the story of the cheese that is made by the cheesemaker. They are helping you with your party. They are picking out the cheese that you will love. They are recommending what is best, what is in season. They are introducing you to new cheeses. So, let's let us cheesemongers do.
We love cheese!
All right, next we have Allison representing Wine Authorities. All right, she's getting her gloves on. All right, we got somebody that got 0.50, half pound, right here. Now she's wrapping her cheeses. So, you know, if you don't get a...
And jerk cheddar? Jerk,
I think he wants two.
I'll get 2 of these.
Oh, okay. All right. And the smoky.
Carry that.
I will put it in the back.
Oh,
The best deal is 3 for 20.
freezer.
Counter height.
As you can see,
So there's 10 on that.
There you go. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
You're killing me, kid. Aubrey.
It's called red cheese because it's toasted.
Jerk cheddar.
Doesn't have
It's the
a
world's
red.
only cheese with beef jerky.
But it melts beautifully. Now this is the real for the...
It is the world's only cheese. Everybody uses salami or pepperoni. I wanted a nice aged beef jerky.
Right on.
It's a brisket style jerky, so it's not chewy.
Excuse me.
we could get a couple.
All right, Tyler's
Like
getting
grits?
ready. He's going to cut
Unbelievable.
wedge.
Wow.
Ken was like, I don't know.
Any kind. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Your cheese is awesome, though.
Don't say sorry.
The goat cheese is so good.
Did it work?
No, thank you.
Don't skip that. Come on in. So you got 2 goat cheeses. Where are you guys from?
Am I gonna find out what I've been missing my whole life?
Some good stuff.
Can I try one? Just a little. Not to get pissed off or too much.
Hasta se me zapomniał mi tak nie minął.
0.24, guys. Now, just cut your half-pound wedge of manchego. All right, here we go. And then after this, she's going to wrap it to cheeses. All right, guys.
They follow olive oil, garlic, and peppercorns. And that's like something. Yeah, that's the last.
Hey, now. Hey, you want a cheese everywhere, right? Hey, cheese fest.
Just in the cracker. We got jars of oil.
do that with honey? Honey chef.
Honey chef? Chef? It's quite delicious. Chef. Chef Lou.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a little squiggly line out there.
I went to a cheese class and they kept talking about go. Until I saw him later.
Nice meeting you.
If you guys
Very funky cheese.
Alright, they're coming around back. We are going to ask Cheesemonger questions.
We know one.
These guys answer the question with knowledge, with using all of their dramatic qualities that they possess so that it's fair. Sandy, you will not be able to ask questions.
Robert and I were good stuff.
She's going to ask us
Farm and Spirit.
All right, so
Heirloom granola.
hi, I'm Marie. I work for Women's Cheese Shop. I'm a cheesemonger for Rachel. So Allison, how do I know that my cheese is too old to eat?
No such thing. What's up, man? How's it going? Doing good.
Well, it depends on the style of cheese. Harder surface for the rind to develop. And that's it. Yes. Oh. Okay, so we've salted the cheese, we're going to dry it, and then we're going to get to the aging process. And this is the affinage, okay? Some people will tell discouraging because we just spent a lot of time talking about making the cheese, right? You're going to want to turn the cheese every couple of days at first and have an even, you want it to age even. You don't want it all kind of sinking down while it's aging. Depending upon the type of cheese that you're making, some cheeses will age for 2 years, some cheeses for 3 months.